What was okay? Let me get your experience of leaving Kenya, Christian. At this time, you're Christian. You're in the scene.
Yeah.
What effect did that have on you in campus?
I left with a great sense of nostalgia and homesickness. Not because I missed home, I missed the scene. And I missed being a part of this growing scene. So what happened is I'm in campus and I had to go to the campus library to access internet to see what the Pulse, was it the Pulse? I think it was the Pulse, was writing about. That was the only kind of like big publication and it wasn't even online.
Yeah.
The Pulse was the Standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the Standard was online, so I'd go there and see, okay, so what's happening?
Yes.
What are these groups? What's Daddy Owen doing? You know, what's Jokesy doing? What's Rough Tone? It was Rough Tone. Oh, I'm forgetting some important people. Rough Tone, Henry Mutuku.
Yes.
What are they doing? What's going on with all these different guys? And it was then that the seed was planted in my heart for my next season of life. Or my next season in the industry, which was a little website. A little known website called Mwafrika.com.
Wait. Did you start Mwafrika? You started when you came back?
So this is what happened.
Okay.
When I was away in Australia, I kept wondering, why can't I read about the gospel music scene? Why is it that okay, the Pulse has all these stories and there's one little paragraph about Rough Tone. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or about Jemima Thiongo or about Esther Wahome. And I'm like, I want to read more about this. At the time, there was a Christian website that I was on daily called gospelflavor.com, an American site. And I don't even know if they're still in existence, FLAVA, Gospel Flavor. And I was on that site every day. And they fed my appetite for the American scene because it was very vibrant back then. And I'd read about Trinity 5-7 and Virtue and all these different guys on this, Kirk Franklin and all these guys. And in my heart, the seed was deposited for I want a Kenyan thing that does this. So when I came back into the country, I worked for a very short time with a small IT, what was then a small IT company. And one of their clients was a guy called Joshua Mwaniki. Joshua Mwaniki, who now is the head of Andela. You know Josh? And Josh walks in and
I know of Josh.
You know of Josh. And he has a website that he wants to start called Campus Vibe. And it's this thing that just collates just lifestyle and stories from all the campuses. Brilliant guy, brilliant idea. I saw that thing and I thought, this is exactly what I want for gospel music.
What year is this?
This is, 2004 or 2005, somewhere around there.
Yes.
And when I came back into the country about that time, I met two of my good friends who were doing concerts in Uganda. So it was interesting because now I've missed a couple of years, and when I come back, I find that the scene is now thriving a little bit more. And not only are we doing well, we take our artists to Kampala and they would pack out shows there.
Yeah.
So we take Sita, they would pack out shows.
What?
We take SK Blue, they would pack out shows there. We take Rough Tone, they'd pack out shows. I remember whenever we'd go to Kampala, we get off the bus and immediately guys in Kampala hear that the three of us are in town. They're like, bring the music. One time we took them a Rough Tone song to Power FM in Kampala.
Yep.
I'm telling you, within half an hour of us guys landing, that song was on the air. So I met these guys and...
that is huge. I mean, dude, just let me tell you why I say that is huge. I understand the need before internet has exploded to the level that it's gone to of music distribution. And what you're saying, I actually did that. I did that for Chris Ero, I did that for Mavuno Worship. But you are talking about the before. I always wondered how the Daddy Owens...
So how that happened was through radio.
Yes, Power FM.
Because there were a couple of people who I'm talking in Kenya.
Okay.
Family FM, but it was only Kubamba because they were still playing a lot of CCM white gospel music from the US. Didn't connect as much with our audience. I worked there, by the way, as a radio presenter for a little while, but that's another story. Kubamba, their radio show, by this time I think they're on Metro FM. Before it was a reggae station, it was like a youth station or something like that. And then television, there was a guy called Arthur K. Arthur K had a show called The Stomp. Is it called The Stomp?
Yeah, The Stomp.
The Stomp,
right.
yes.
It's first started on Saturdays.
Yes. And I think those were the main platforms. And that was before even guys like Pinye would play gospel music. Even that Kawan Katoken song, that was before that season. So, or maybe he did play, I don't remember it very clearly. But so when I come back, I take a look at gospelflavor.com. And then I see what Josh is doing with Campus Vibe, and I know this is what I want to do. And at a meeting somewhere at a place called Hostels, the three of us sit and we dream up Mwafrika.com. And
who is the third person?
There were three guys. There's a guy called Rolands, and a guy called Manu.
Yes.
Manu Ogombo. Now, about that time, I don't even remember what year this is. We start Mwafrika.com. Now, what we were, I don't know, how would you describe it? It was like...
You were...
Like
the
Gafla.
The Pulse, the curation, you are the distribution platform.
Yeah.
You are where you go to find out about events, what's happening in the scene, new artists, what events just went down. Yeah.
Now, what was interesting? So we did reviews, album reviews, movie reviews. We did event reviews. That was a big part of what we did.
Yep.
Do you know, between the three of us and maybe one or two other guys, Giorgio Law and Mr. Sam, we interviewed the entire industry. It was crazy. When I think about it now, I'm just like, you name someone who was active then. I met with them, very likely, and interviewed them and did a profile on them.
Yep.
I did profiles on every artist. So Daddy Owen, Rafton, Henry Mutuku, SK Blue, Harry G. I can't even remember.
The Mavuno
Worship Project. I did a review on that. A-Star. I did all your records. I did reggae. I did hip hop. I did everyone. I did Juliani.
Yep.
I did Movie. I did what is her name?
Christine Della.
Christine Della.
Yeah.
Mission Driven. I did. In fact, I have a picture of Mission Driven. I'll give you with the one and only Honorable Sakaja.
It's this picture right here.
It's this picture that you're looking at right now. Very funny.
Yeah. And what people don't understand, let me just say this. This is when I met you. So I'm like, first and foremost, I loved websites because I had a website, Kenyan Madness, but it was totally opposite from what you were doing. And I understood the power of website. And for me, it was insane that I couldn't find information on the gospel music industry. But when I knew this thing is insane, is because I've just become a musician. My first ever performance as a musician was at the Mwafrika.com launch, website launch, which
I remember
again is at NPC sit-up.
I remember
There's smoke and lights.
I know.
In fact, we did a Kijiji set because Kijiji was launching as a record label. Just to and that's the level and the magnitude at which Mwafrika was.
Actually, how you ended up on that gig is Kanjii told me about you. I think he told me about you and he was like, this guy is a really good cat, good rapper. And I remember you walking in on the day of the gig and thinking, this is the guy. Honestly, I was like, this is the guy they are raving about. I'm just like, this guy is Karafian.
Yeah.
But then I remember that was your first performance at
Mwafrika.
And Gowi was our MC. I remember that.
Gowi, you're there. That's insane.
Yeah, I remember that.
We had a whole Kijiji entertainment set. I'm talking about Nema was on that set. Chizi was on that set. Kanjii was on that set. Yeah.
And I had interviewed all of you. I had reviewed all your music. Yep. So just to show the scope of the industry was much smaller, but it was beginning to bubble under when we began doing Mwafrika. And we'd cover gigs. I remember going for...
Can you remember Close Your Eyes? You came with Mugash and you were filming
Yes, I remember that.
Baptist, and that was not been done before. I'm talking about 2 camera shoot during what you're calling the Sadaka performance.
Absolutely, and I worked with Ken Olo, and Ken would cut the videos for me. In fact, I have a beautiful video of Aaron Rimbui's first album launch featuring Eric Wainaina, and they do a song together. And Ken Olo, big up Ken, he did that for me. So
let me just show you the power of this, and I'm not to dwell on this, but also to dwell on this. I can't find that footage anywhere else unless it's through you. As somebody even who used to create a lot of content to show how nobody else was doing this. People have to understand KenyanGospel.com, which was done by DJ Fresh, came after. There was no other place you could go and find information on the...
I tell you, I think my e-commerce background kind of came into play here. That whole websites and whatnot, that's where I got that from. But I felt very fortunate. I felt like I had a front row seat to everything. Like there's nothing that happened in the industry I didn't know about. There's no music that I didn't know about. There's no album launch. I remember going to SK Blue. SK Blue had an album called Prophecy. Oh man, biggest album I'd ever listened to. Cha-Cha and Flags. I covered his album launch. I did video, I did pictures, I did story. I went to Zaidi Mziki's album launch at JCC. And Zaidi Mziki, I think then were just, when I came back into the country, I heard of a group called Gospel Fathers who were blowing up. But then when they came together with a group called Jogsi and they formed Zaidi Mziki, that was the biggest group I had ever encountered, and they played we got to 1 million hits or something like that.
Yes.
Mwafrika to come and we did a big celebration party, and I called in all the artists, and all the artists.
Where did you do that celebration party?
We did it at August 7 Memorial Park.
Yes.
Yeah. And I got, I got Peter Dera, I got Kavudha Mwanzia, Ndenya, I got Atemi, I got Neema. Neema actually was in charge of putting the gig together. Who else was on stage? I got a whole ton. Zaidi Mziki did one of the most unforgettable live sets I've ever seen.
Yes.
Jemima Thiongo was there, and there was just a ton of guys. I don't remember. Forgive me if I skip a name. And so that was a season where we began to document, and we did that for maybe 4 or 5 years. We documented every event, everything going on. We interviewed everybody from Mombasa. It really was Nairobi and Mombasa, to be honest. Back then, there was one group from Nakuru or LD, and I'll feel so bad because I forget their name. A rap group. But we covered.
It's not Cubanotics.
Cubanotics. That's it.
Yeah.
And we covered events. In fact, I was telling you, I found my hard disk that has a ton of pictures.
Yeah.
We covered. There was a gig called First Fridays. There was a gig called First Fridays. Kavudha Mwanzia and Denya Masuko, revolutionary. They went from church to church doing this worship gig.
Oh, they went from church to church.
I have like 1,000 pictures. No, they went from church to church. I followed them everywhere they went. Nairobi Chapel, Bapo, Good Shepherd, St. Andrews, everywhere they went. I have all those pictures because I went for all those gigs. And I really feel like Mwafrika really helped to begin to put the industry in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Producers, I interviewed every producer there was. I can't remember them now, but RK.
Blackman.
I interviewed Blackman, Richard Kasika. I interviewed Richard Kasika. What? His profile was on my website. I interviewed all the DJs. Back then it was a very different list because it was DJ Kevin, who was a beast of a DJ back in the day.
Kevin Muley.
Yeah, DJ Kev. DJ Josh.
Let me tell you another one.
Kanyaga. DJ Nevs. DJ Rick. I interviewed DJ Rick, DJ J, DJ Kim. Badilika DJs, sundayschool.com. Just a ton of guys. And for about maybe four or 5 years, everything is documented about the industry. And that was a time when it really just kind of began to pick. And I can tell you why I know that. Because shortly after that, or in that season, I get invited to Kisima. Kisima Awards.